Hey, everyone, and welcome to Third and 30, a coach's podcast where we believe opportunity is everything. As you can see, my co partner, Coach Praveen, is not here with me today, but it's okay. This is your co host, Jason Chaddock, here to get things started. And I am truly excited to have our guest on today. She is going to fill us in on so many pieces of fantastic information as we go. We are bringing Paige Evans into the studio today, our live virtual studio here, and she is going to walk us through some things that, let's be real, some of us really suck at. And it's okay to say that because she is the expert. She is our leader. She is our content expert. And what I say, something that we sometimes struggle with, and I know Coach Praveen and I joke about this all the time. I suck in the world of sales. That's why I have never been in the world of sales. I am truly confident in what I do for a living. And there are some of us that just really know how to rock it and take advantage of a great skill set that we've been given and understanding that world of working in business and especially the business to business world. And that's why we felt so compelled today to bring Paige onto the show with us. Paige has been a leader in the industry for years and has a track record to prove it. We know as coaches, we know as leaders, we want to be able to turn to that person that has the track record of success. So that's what we're excited about today. So, what I want to do first is just welcome Paige Evans into the virtual studio with us today. Paige, welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. I'm pumped to be here, Jason.
We're excited to have you, and most importantly, I'm going to tell you this: we're excited to learn from you because that's what this is all about, is being able to learn from the experts that are out there. So Paige and I recently met. We are in a brand builders group program. BBG is what we call it for short, where it really teaches us about building personal brands and being able to take what we do best and be able, this is going to sound ironic, be able to then get that out to the world and in some cases sell. And we're going through different stuff. And Paige and I met and we were chatting and we were going through things. And I was like, wow, Paige, you have this awesome expertise and I stink in this arena. And that is the purpose of this show, though, is because we want to learn and grow with and from the people we work around and with and get involved in different programs with. So that's what we're excited about today is to have Paige join us. So, Paige, I know I've gotten to know you a little bit and gotten to learn the background. We've talked about like where you currently are now in the San Antonio, Texas area. We've been able to talk about some different things. If you could bring our audience up to speed, tell us about your journey up to this point in your life. And what are some of the key life or career moments, even that have happened that stand out to you in making Paige Evans who we know today?
Love it. Thank you so much, Jason, for that great intro. It's been so fun getting to know you through BBG. So, I'd say that my journey really starts with my dad. And he's no longer with us, but he shaped pretty much everything about how I see the world. And a lot of my friends have had the fortune of getting to know him and they met him. And the resounding comments were like, he's unlike any other. So he was the tough love kind of dad. He was hyper competitive and he deeply believed that anything was possible if you set your mind to it. And he was living proof of that. And he turned nearly everything into a teaching moment. And so when he would drive my brother and I to school growing up, we were not able to listen to the radio or even really have a conversation with him because he was doing math drills and spelling drills. That's when I
Oh,
learned,
yikes.
yeah, that's when I learned how to spell the word Mississippi, and do long division in my head. And so it was all about like getting better and improving. Anytime we went to a restaurant, he would take the bill and hide it. And he'd say, okay, everyone, we're going to go around and guess, what's the total of the bill? Don't forget to factor in tax. And so he just always wanted us to be thinking and he was competitive. We never were able to watch cartoons. And his favorite question that he would always ask my friends, my brother, and me was, what is your 5-year plan? And so from
Mm.
a very, very young age, I knew that I always had to have a 5-year plan. And anytime we had a friend over, he would barely get to know their name and he'd say, "So tell me about your 5-year plan." And no one really ever had one. They were like, "What do you mean? I need to have a 5-year plan? I'm just an elementary or high school or college." And he made it his mission to help people see that they were in charge of their lives and to stop just kind of coasting through life and to take ownership and to be thinking about the future and planning for the future. And so it was really neat to see him kind of mentor some of my friends and ask them questions like, what do you enjoy? What are you good at? What are you not good at? What's your GPA? And some of these questions felt intrusive at times, but it was him really trying to help them see an opportunity for themselves. And so I'm so proud to have been raised by two incredible parents, but really the fact that he took so much pride in helping shape us to always be leveling up or doing better, doing more. And so I think everything really, really started with him and just the way his outlook was, be competitive. And if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself because everyone else will just disappoint you, was kind of what he banged into our heads. So it really all started with him.
That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. One of the things I could not help but think is the high school Paige Evans, and
Hmm.
you bringing a boy over to the house, and you hear those stories of people, back in our old days of, oh, dad be waiting on the porch with the shotgun. I think I'd be more intimidated with a dad asking me my 5-year plan.
100%. Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I know you're not going to shoot me, so that doesn't scare me. You ask me my 5-year plan, I'm terrified.
It better be good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And what great memories you have. And that's something you can always look to as an inspiration, as a guiding force for
Oh
you.
yeah.
And I bet you're going to do the same thing with your kids, aren't you?
Oh, 100%. They're 3 and 4 years old. So the 5-year plans, we haven't started asking them quite yet, but 100%. They'll be asked.
That's awesome. I look forward to hearing stories down the road about how that goes.
You can do it with your kids. There you go.
Oh, my son would tell you his 5-year plan right now, I'm sure.
Perfect.
My
Incredible. Well done, Dad.
I don't know if that was anything to do with us or he's just so future focused.
That's
My
incredible.
daughter, my daughter, on the other hand, I don't think she could tell you what she's doing this weekend, let alone in 5 years.
That is okay. She's still
Yeah,
growing
she
up.
is. She is. So, Paige, I want you to walk us down a pathway of kind of where you've gone now and gone
Yeah.
through. You have a focus in sales,
Mhm.
and a lot of that has been in the business to business market, is we have learned. Walk us through, because I'm dying to know this. And again, remember, I started this show saying I suck in sales. Like that
Yep.
is not my thing.
Sure.
I want you to walk us through what the training manual tells you about sales. Like when you first went into sales and they handed you the
Yep.
staff training manual, what that training manual tells you about sales versus what the reality of the business is and how you actually have to sell.
Great, great question. So it's funny. I remember it was a couple weeks before I started in software sales, and the company sent us all this information to start kind of combing over as we got ready for our first day of work. And I remember reading through a lot of it, and I'm like, this is so complicated. Like, this, I'm not excited about this job anymore. And I literally called my dad. I'm like, I think I messed up. I think I need to back out of this before I start.
Uh-oh.
And he told me, he goes, Paige, you just graduated college. You're not marketable. You need to go work at that company and do a good job. And then you're going to have a resume that shows, like, I'm Paige Evans. I can do X, Y, and Z. Therefore, you can go get whatever job you want after that. But he's like, right now, you don't have experience. So just you accepted the job, just go learn a lot and see what you can make happen. And I was kind of hoping he'd say, "Oh, well, yeah, then back out." But nope, he didn't. So he told me to double down.
It wasn't
And
part of the
so
5-year plan.
yeah, exactly. And so I just remember all the training. It overcomplicated everything. And I think that's why so many reps struggle because you're told, follow this defined process and use this proven script and use this talk track and ask qualifying questions and handle objections using these responses that have been prepared for you and rely heavily on product features and differentiating against our competition. And there's just like all this noise that feels really overwhelming of like, okay, well, so what do I really do? You're telling me to do so many things. And at the end of the day, sales is just a series of conversations where you're just helping people. You're building relationships, you're building trust. And if you can do those two things really well, then you're going to win. And so I think again, there's so much noise and confusion and overcomplication on how to sell and how to do things and use this framework and don't do this and use AI and again, so
Mm.
much noise. But at the end of the day, selling is all about building good relationships. And it's not just relationships with your prospects, it's also relationships with your team, your internal team, because what people don't realize is selling is a team sport. Like if you try to go do it alone, you're going to struggle. But you might have a boss, you might have a good sales engineer. Like there's all these people around you that are part of your team that are going to want to help you win. And so I think something else to remember is you're not selling to a company, you're selling to a person. You're selling to someone who has a boss and internal politics and pressure and their own reputation on the line. And so that's why building trust in that relationship really matters because they're going to stick their neck out for you. They're going to take a meeting, then they're going to pull people in, and they're all going to have to listen to you. And then you might tell them that your product costs $100,000 and what's going to happen next, right? And so it's if you haven't built a good relationship and built trust, you're not going to win. And so I like to think of relationship building as you're starting with $0 in the bank of trust. And so anytime you meet a new person, you got $0 worth of trust built up. And sometimes you're actually in the negative. A lot of people just don't like salespeople. They've had bad experiences. So you might be starting in the red, and it's your job to slowly build up past zero into the green zone. And I like to think of it that way. And it's over delivering, it's doing a good job, it's following through, it's being early, it's being on time, it's really listening when people have when they're opening up to you about their problems, like be really genuinely curious. Don't just try to tell them about your product. Like try to really understand what they're walking through. And Jason, you're so good at that. So I think you're better at sales than you're giving yourself credit for. But it really is just um, listening to understand, not to respond. And so one thing that I always encourage people to do is after every single meeting, go take notes on everything that was said if you didn't use an AI recorder or something, because there's tidbits that even happen before a meeting. Someone might open up to you about how their child just graduated or how their daughter's getting married soon and they can't wait to go wedding dress shopping. Like those little things matter and you need to write them down. They might tell you the name of their spouse, the name of their dog, where they went to college. And the next time that you interact with them, pull in one of those things and weave it in. And you've just built so much credibility and trust where they're like, oh, Jason actually listened to me last time. I feel valued, important. Like I'm starting to trust this guy. He might be different than other salespeople I've worked with. So some of those details, the minutia, are really important. It's not about, let me tell you about my product and what I want to sell you. It's no, I might be able to help you. Let's slow down and understand what you might need. And it's again a series of conversations. And if you do that really well at the end of the sales cycle, the natural next step is let's make things official, right? And let's sign the contract and continue this motion. But the reason I mentioned selling or building relationships internally is you can get things done that are really unique for a prospect if you've got good internal relationships. You might have to go ask a favor. Can we do this contract a little differently this one time? If you've built a good relationship with the contracting team or the legal team or procurement or whoever internally. But if you're not building relationships internally, then it's going to be hard for you to look good as a salesperson with your prospects because you've got a whole team behind you that is trying to support you if you're willing to pour back into them too.
Paige, you just gave me so many good pieces here. And
Okay.
I know right now we have a mixed audience in the sense of some people listen to this via a normal podcast. It's going to be I got headphones in, I'm riding a bike, I'm doing exercises, I'm driving in a car. And some people will look at this on YouTube. And for those watching on YouTube, you could actually mute this whole show and just watch Paige because you can see her enthusiasm come out. Now I'm someone who talks with my hands, so I love the fact that you talk with your hands some and you do it in building your message. And your facial expressions, the excitement in which I can see on your face just talking about this subject matter. So that's something I really want the audience to be able to grasp. I'm describing this to you because I know some of you are not going to physically see this with your own eyes. The energy Paige brings out. You could just mute this and see the energy, and you would look and say, I wonder what she's talking about right now because she's really fired up about something.
I love it.
Conversely, just to have the volume going and have the conversation, you brought out two things to me, and I appreciate you saying that I have some of the skills it takes to build this forward
Yeah.
because I will tell you, I've been in the Parks and Rec and sports management field my whole life, and now obviously doing some speaking and training and workshops and things like that. And having this knowledge base is really important. One of the things you brought up, though, that I see in my field all the time, and you brought it up as such a critical piece, is the trust in the relationships.
Hmm.
And it does make such a big difference when you can walk into someone's office and say, "Hey, Paige, how did things go over the weekend with the party that you were planning?"
Yeah.
Or something to that effect. That makes a difference. That is those little BBG talks about them all the time. It's little trust soldiers that we
Yes.
that we build up as we go along. I want to highlight something though that you just brought up. Thank you for teaching me. And I know you're teaching everybody in the audience right now, but thank you for teaching me about the relationship building piece and the getting to know them, getting to not just sell, but to have a conversation. Because one of the things that I look at, I do this in a reverse engineer way.
Hmm.
My entire walk of life has been working with a staff, as you had alluded to, building that staff up because they are your team.
Yep.
I can tell you that at least half the ideas or half of the things that we are going to do, they were not from me.
Right.
I would say probably 70% were not from me. They were from staff.
Hmm.
My message over all of these years of leadership has always been, Paige, let's pretend for a minute, pretend you're a
Yep.
coworker with me.
Okay.
My message to you would be, okay, Paige, if you can sell me on why we need to go this route with this event,
Hmm.
you can sell me on why we need to make this alteration to the program or why we should eliminate this current recreation software solution
Hmm.
and go with this other one instead. If you can sell me on it with passion and conviction,
Yeah.
I will sell my superiors on this.
Hmm. There you go.
And
Yeah.
like that's me reverse engineering it. And what you talked about is it's not so much selling the product
Hmm.
to the person. Sometimes maybe this is something I need to take a deep look at based on what you said. This is why you're a content expert in this and I am not. Is your how do I make your life easier?
100%. Yeah.
How can I help you? Help
Hmm.
me help you. And
Yeah.
that's where your focus is. Your focus isn't just on this $100,000 product that you can sell to
Right.
Joe Smith.
Right.
No, Paige is focused on how can I make Joe Smith's life a little bit easier?
Yes.
I'm focused on Joe Smith, not my product of
Right.
XYZ.
Hmm.
How did you get to that mindset though?
Yeah. So I've been fortunate to have some great bosses and not so great bosses, but I remember one of my bosses was really, really good at helping us with that mindset shift of there are people dying for our product right now, today, wishing for this product. There's people who didn't sleep last night because they have a problem that you can solve, and your whole job is to go find those people. And you might have to do 100 cold calls and 99 people will say no, but that one person that says yes, like you might be able to help them. And so just that mindset shift of we're in the service of others, and there are people who are hoping you call and hoping
Mhm.
you can solve their problem. And for me, that created so much urgency where I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many people I need to help. It's not that I'm going to go cold call and being annoying and hope they take a meeting. Like, it's not that at all. It's I know that my product is valuable. I know we solve real problems. And the hardest part is just getting in front of the right people. But every no is one step closer to a yes. And when I hear no, I hear maybe. And that's where objection handling comes into play. Because sometimes people will say no, but you might be able to say, is it no because of budget or is there just no interest? Like, help me understand that. And they might say, well, and then give you a whole bunch. And then you're like, well, actually, we have really unique contracting options. If that is your hang up that you don't have budget this quarter, we can solve that, or you don't even pay till next year. And again, you're not selling the product, you're selling the meeting. And so you just want the opportunity to sit down with someone and even see if it's worth either of your time, right? You can't sell automotive software to a dental practice, right? So like there has to be relevant, right? So it's not just
Unless
like
you're really good.
and let you know it's probably happened before. But anyway, yeah, so like you need to be relevant, right? So whoever you're calling, like make sure that there is a propensity that you might be able to help based on your research. Doesn't mean they're going to take a meeting or say yes or give you the time of day. It doesn't mean that, but it's going to get you 1 inch closer to that next yes. And so again, I think it goes back to some great bosses who had helped me have those light bulb moments where I'm like, I can help so many people, so I need to get after it.
Mhm. And one of the things we've talked about before here is failure doesn't have to be fatal.
Right.
And Coach P talks all the time. I bet every show it comes out, it's instead of looking at it as it's losses, it's lessons.
Yes, love it.
And hey, I didn't necessarily lose a client. I learned
Hmm.
something from the relationship with this client that I can use to
Yeah.
help me in the procurement of my next client.
Yes. That is so good. Yeah. Failure is feedback. Loss is lessons. Just, yeah, just knowing that it's not fatal. Like you just
Yeah.
gained a gold nugget every time, right? I love
Exactly. And I even had a recent experience because like I'm new to this whole putting myself out
Sure.
there and trying to obtain whether it is speaking at a conference or
Yeah.
obtaining a client. And in my case, yes, I'm talking to an individual like Joe Smith, as you referenced.
Hmm.
Yet I know Joe Smith is serving the city of so and so.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm in the bigger theory, I'm marketing to a city to
Right.
try to get them on board with some training services. However, Joe Smith is the one I'm trying to relieve Joe Smith's pressure point,
Yes.
what he's
Yes.
struggling with. And there was a time not too long ago where I didn't get into one of the state functions I was trying to get into.
Hmm.
And let's be honest, in some cases you look and oh man, I'm butthurt about that. I
Sure.
really wanted to be in
Yeah.
that one.
Yep.
And you look back and you discover, well, when I saw their agenda come out, it wasn't even a type of conference I could have went to as an
Hmm.
educational speaker. It was kind of keynote or nothing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't know
Okay.
that.
Okay.
At the applying process, I didn't know that. So I needed to switch that loss into a lesson
Yeah.
of being able to learn, no, I wasn't looking at the right thing. I wasn't even trying to market the right thing to them because they didn't need that from me.
Hmm.
So I flipped it, was
There you
able
go.
to learn and did different with another organization and got in. And
Amazing.
it's and
Right.
it's like just taking those lessons along the way. The
Yes. So
the
good.
question I'm dying to know though right now from you is when you first got into this, even whether it was a couple years down the road or even in the first year, what
Hmm.
was one of the toughest parts? Aside from like all the noise, what was one of the toughest parts of walking
Definitely.
into there?
Yeah, I think that one of the toughest parts is you can do everything right and still build good relationships and trust and still not win the deal,
Hmm.
but you still gotta keep doing it all over again, right? Like that you can't take that loss of like, oh, we put in, 7 months into that, and we did everything right and all that effort, and we didn't even get anything out of it, right? Like you can't let that loss just deflate you and impact all your other deals or your ego. Like you just have to know I did everything I could. We have great relationships. And it's building that resilience muscle of just knowing that that's just sales. You're not going to get them all. You can do everything the best you can, just all the things, and you can be so dumbfounded, like how did we not get it? And there's stuff that you might not even know happening behind the scenes at a company. You might have good relationships where they're telling you what they know, but they don't know what this president is saying or what the relationships that person has. And so I think a lesson I learned the hard way was you have to be really multi-threaded with your relationships. You can't just have one really solid relationship. Like you've got to be all over the org, all over decision makers. Um, and one deal in particular that comes to mind, we built great relationships with the whole payroll and HR team. We were selling a HR payroll product. And the CEO and founder of the company, he didn't want to be in those meetings to learn about payroll and HR software. And so we kind of failed to go build a relationship with him. We knew his name, knew he was a CEO, and the HR payroll team said, yeah, he charged us with going and evaluating all these companies. So they ended up signing a contract with us, but the one of the reps we were competing with at a competitor, she had built a relationship with this founder somehow. I don't know if she brought in cookies right before a meeting and left a note and just said, here's our company. I don't know what she did, but she found a way to build a relationship with the head honcho. And so when she found out that she lost the deal to us, she went to him and said, "You guys made,"
Oh,
and she said, "You guys made a big mistake. Here's all the reasons you need to work with us." And since he was the head honcho, he ended up charging the HR payroll team saying, "Hey, I know that you had me sign that contract, but we actually need to get out of it and go with this other company." So this was after the deal was signed
oh,
and
wow.
after we had won the deal, but we failed to build a really critical relationship. And so again, I learned that deal the hard way. The company I worked for, we ended up letting them out of it. No penalty because we just were like, we're going to do the right thing. And that lesson, I haven't made that mistake again. I'm like, who do we not know that we need to know? Because the reps you might be competing with, like they're trying to build relationships too. And
Yeah.
she built one and maybe didn't even spend that much time building it, but we spent no time building it, and it cost us the whole deal.
Wow. Those must have been some dynamic cookies that she
I'm
ordered,
telling you, I don't know what the heck she did, but it worked.
like double chocolate chip or something.
Something frosting too. I don't know.
So, Paige, we are all in the business of building people, and that is something that's really important to us. We've talked offline about that. Coach P and I talk about it every show. What led you to start your own business and help other sales professionals and leaders
Yeah.
and build them as people? What led to you saying, "Hey, this is where I want to go with this"?
Yes. So ever since I can remember, I've just been obsessed with mindset and self-help books. My roommate in college would make fun of me. She's like, "Are you reading another self-help book?" But I've just always gravitated towards that topic of we can always be improving. We're never done growing. And I actually had one of my favorite bosses, an acronym he taught our team was CANI, which stands for constant and never-ending improvement.
Mm,
And he just, I think it's easy for us early in our careers to look at the people who've made it or who have a certain title and think, oh, like they're done improving. They know everything there is to know. Like that, I'm trying to just get to their level. But he really taught us that it doesn't matter what level you're at, technology is always changing.
mm,
AI is coming out, the market's shifting. Like there's always something you need to be improving upon, and we're never done growing as people. And so I've really embraced that mentality that I just always want to get better. I want to be a better wife, a better mom, a better business person, whatever it is, like I know I can always do better. And I'm just so passionate about helping people see a better outcome or possibility for themselves that they might not currently see, but I can see it in them. And I think a lot of people choose comfort over the scary, uncomfortable thing of trying something that they might not be good at. And I think, being able to help people go into the uncomfortable, that's where the growth happens instead of just choosing the safe, practical option of staying comfortable, whether it's in sales or other industries. I'm really passionate about just helping people produce a better outcome for them, for their families, whatever it is, and just seeing things differently that they can, and the only person holding them back is themselves, of that self-talk of, I don't know, or maybe when I'm older, or maybe when the kids are older, or I don't have kids, or I do have kids, right? Like we can just talk ourselves out of things before we ever even give ourselves a shot. So I just want to help people see things the way I see them, of like, you can do it, whatever it is. You're the one just standing in your way. So like get out of your own way and just start
Yeah.
moving towards the thing.
There's so much truth to that. And the two things that instantly popped in my mind while you were walking us through that is the movie Hitch,
Mm,
where Alex Hitchens is playing this character of a consultant, and his whole mindset was, I help people get out of their own way so they can see what's in front of them.
yes.
And I also think about massage therapy.
Mm,
Massage therapy, the whole objective is to
yeah.
relieve pressure points, to relieve pain, to
Mm-hmm.
eliminate pain so you can move forward in a productive way. And that's literally what you're talking about here,
Yes.
is being able to help people get out of their own way, being able to help eliminate those pressure points, to help people find the greatness that does lie within them and is sitting in front of them.
Yep. Amen. No, it's so true. It's like God has instilled so much potential in all of us. And I don't want to get to my deathbed and be like, God, I played it too safe. I wonder what I could have done. And again, my dad passed away about a year ago, and he lived life to the fullest. He wasn't perfect, but he lived it to the fullest. And even through his hospice care, like he still had this mindset of, when I get out of here, like he thought he was going to leave hospice care. He's like, I got to go fishing in Alaska and catch some monsters. Like he just was wired that way till the very end, that he'd overcome whatever obstacle came his way. And so, anyway, I'm so passionate that greatness is within all of us, but I think too many of us just never tap into it because we're choosing the practical route or the safe route or the comfortable route. And I just feel like that's such a travesty, and you're capable of so much more, you know?
Yeah, I fully agree. And it's so much of what I even talk about in my work environment and some of the presentations that I do. I'm really curious because you have shared so many great pieces with us today. I am itching now to know, what is the biggest adversity or impactful challenge that you've overcome, and how did it shape who you are today?
Yes. So when I was 23 years old, I had just been working in software sales a couple of years, saved all my commissions to buy a condo, to do the down payment on a
Mm.
condo. And I saved a little money to just kind of do some minor improvements on the kitchen because it was a really, really old kitchen. It needed a new pipe under the kitchen sink, some new appliances. So set aside a little for that. But other than that, I'm like, okay, I pretty much don't have a savings now because I'm investing in this condo at 23 years old. And during those minor improvements, I got a call from a neighbor telling me that my condo was on fire. And I'm
Oh,
literally in my cubicle at work, and I'm like, is it a big fire, a small fire? Like, what do you mean fire? And she just said, you need to get here as soon as possible. And so it turns out that the plumber was smoldering a pipe under the kitchen sink to basically connect the fitting, and that can be called sweating a pipe. And when you do that, they're using a torch, and it gets so hot under there that there can be a fire risk, however long that torch is on, of actually igniting things behind the wall, whether it's debris or insulation. And so what happened was, when he smoldered the pipe, he did a great job on the pipe, but it just, I don't know if the flame was on too long or if the torch touched something or what, but there was a fire that started behind the wall. He didn't even know. He did the thing and then left. And so no one's in the house.
oh
And
no.
this fire is in the walls traveling. It ends up completely destroying the entire condo, completely destroying my neighbor's condo, and
Oh
and
no.
then halfway destroying my other neighbor's condo. So just like horrible. And so I pull up to the scene. I left work, and there's literally news reporters, multiple fire trucks, black smoke. They've rescued animals from some of the condos because, people are at work, the animals are home. They don't want any fatalities. And so what ended up happening from there was I kind of got thrown into this situation of navigating insurance claims, multiple insurance companies, whose fault is it? How are we going to rebuild this? Who's cleaning up the debris? We got angry homeowners. Three condominium owners are displaced. Where do they live? The whole thing, right? And again, I'm 23. I've never been in any kind of situation like this. I have this big quota at work that I'm trying to hit, like so much going on. And I got thrown into all that. And I remember I got a call from our CRO, Chief Revenue Officer at my company, and he's like, I'm just so sorry. Like, what can we do? And just all these people just felt so bad for me. And I literally said to him, I'm like, this is a solvable problem. I'm like, I'm not going to be a victim of this. Like, I can solve this, right? Right? Like, this is not one of those, like, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, I don't know how all the steps are going to go, but like, we're going to get there. And I just was like, I don't want people feeling bad for me. Like, if this is my worst problem, it's going to be okay. And so I'm like, don't feel bad for me. I'm not a victim. Like, I'm going to be a victor over this, and it's going to be fine. And don't worry, I'm still going to sell some stuff, and like it's all going to work out. And so that whole experience came with a lot of decisions and a lot of setbacks and a lot of hiccups. And out of it, actually, I came to realize how much I loved flipping properties or improving properties because I was forced to pick out flooring and drywall texture and paint colors and light
Hmm.
fixtures and door handles and doorknobs and windows and on and on and on. And since then I've done a lot of that on the side as like a passion project because I truly just enjoy it. Like I love finding a place that needs a whole bunch of work and being like, ooh, like what can we do and flipping it later. And so I think the message there is that pain has a purpose. Like whatever you're walking through, it's preparing you for something. And if you're struggling, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's preparing you, it's stretching you, it's teaching you something that you're going to need later. And so growing again doesn't come from just being comfortable. It comes from being in uncomfortable situations. And if you're in a place where you're struggling, like embrace it, don't resist it. Know it's actually a really good place to be and extract lessons from it. And I think in the future, you'll actually look back with gratitude on whatever you're walking through. And anyway, yeah, it was quite the experience.
That is a heck of a story.
Yeah, it was
That
crazy.
I think that might go down as one of the best stories we've ever heard on this podcast.
There you go. Pain has a purpose.
Yeah, pain does have a purpose, and that was very meaningful, very very deep. And then you found your inner Joanna Gaines
There you go.
and
I did.
started renovation projects.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was wild. And the one part I didn't mention was as I'm standing there at the scene, a gentleman walked up to me and he goes, "Are you the owner of the condo that started this fire with your renovations?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's."
Uh-oh.
And he goes, "Well, good news. I'm with a restoration company and we can start cleaning up all the debris tomorrow so that the homeowners can be able to walk on the paths to get to their cars because there was debris everywhere. People couldn't walk on the path like to get into the community." And he goes, "You just need to sign this contract and we'll get to work tomorrow." And so me being solution oriented was like, "Great, because I don't know what to do. So it sounds like you have a solution. Let me sign." And the guy never came the next day. And I
Oh,
told all the neighbors, "Don't worry, the cleanup's going to start tomorrow. I'm just so sorry this happened." And so I have his business card and I'm calling him, texting him, emailing him, and he's just not getting back to me. And this went on for about 2.5 weeks. And
ooh.
again, homeowners are pissed off. I'm frustrated. I'm like, this is not a good situation. You were the guy who was going to help, and you keep overpromising and just not showing up. And he'd say, "Oh, okay, I'll try to get them out on this day." And so I was like, crap, I got to get out of this contract because even if they do show up, this pattern will probably continue of, oh, we'll rebuild the condo tomorrow. And then they just never come. And I'm like, this can't go on for much longer. So I ended up figuring out who his boss was and who his boss was and figuring out like the head decision maker at this
Mhm.
company and reached out to the guy. And I just broke down and I'm like, sir, I made a big mistake. I signed this contract. We do not want to move forward with you all. I have found a different company that I want to rebuild and do the work and restoration. They've already started the debris removal process. I need you to get me out of this contract with no penalty. I'm sorry this wasn't a good fit, but can you do that for me? And he ended up saying, yes, I consider it done. I'm so sorry you're walking through this. It's all going to work out. I'll send an email right now to everyone on the chain, letting them know the contract's terminated. Good luck with that other company. And so, anyway, just yeah, I just remember feeling so hopeless for those first few weeks of like, this is a solvable problem, but the company I need to help solve it is not doing their job. And so, anyway, we built a good relationship with another company and they were great. And they actually were the company who ended up helping us with other projects in the future because they just did what they
Hmm.
said they were going to do, right? So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
A lot to be said for just simply doing what you say you'll do.
100%. Like if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And if you can't, say you can't. But just
Yeah.
the ghosting, it's like, oh, that trust equity, like you're in the way bottom red, you know? Like it's going to take a lot to get past zero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's close out. That was huge there. Tons of great lessons in that. And what I'd like to do is close out with learning a little bit regarding the advice that you would have for our
Mhm.
listeners who may be struggling, whether it's in life, strategy development, leadership, or sales. What would be your advice to them?
Yeah. My biggest piece of advice would be that the view that you adopt of yourself will shape a lot of your life, maybe your entire life. Your identity, your self-talk, the story that you are telling yourself about yourself matters way more than you think. And so if you're in a spot where you have that negative self-talk of you can't or you shouldn't or what if you fail, like that is not a good place to be. And you have to get to a place where you actually believe in yourself and then you act upon that belief. It's not enough to just believe, but you also have to put action into motion. And so early in my career, I remember I just truly, I mean, I told you earlier, I didn't even really want this job. I tried to have my dad say, just quit. And he was like, no, go see what you can make of this thing. And I remember sitting at my cubicle completely just feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to find success here. I've never sold software. I don't think I could sell even $1 worth of this software. Like I just was in this place ruminating on like, I just don't know how. And it really sucked. I felt discouraged and defeated before I even started. And I had this moment where I'm like, okay, I don't want to stay in this pity party. Like, I'd rather just try to succeed and see how it goes. And I literally opened up a Word document and I typed out this declaration to myself of who I
Mm.
knew I was. And I still have it today. And it says, my name is Paige Evans, and I'm going to identify my first attainable goal at this company, which is to become the #1 sales rep in the Dallas office. And I said, I know I can because I've done other hard things and I will do whatever it takes to make that happen. And it, again, I have it tucked away in a box, but and a picture on my phone, but it goes on to say that succeeding will never be easy. Like embracing the process and being gritty as you go. And so I just had to get myself into the identity of I will be successful and here's what it's going to take and I'm not going to stop until I do. And I kind of just put away that negative place and I pasted this above my computer in my cubicle. So as a daily reminder of like who I know I am. And even though the results on the board show I've sold $0, like that's not going to be zero for much longer, right? And so I just embrace that identity of I will find a way. I don't know how, but I know what I'm working towards. And so I think just if people can not focus so much on the how, if we ruminate on the how, we won't get far. But if we can focus on the what, like what are you trying to do and just walk that direction. Don't worry about all the steps to get there. I think that that'll help people just change the identity they have and help them realize like just figure out the what and the how will take care of itself.
Yeah, there's so much there. And one of the huge things is just believing in yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to have a belief. If you don't believe in you, how do you expect someone else to believe in you?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we build up that belief? How do we have the positive self-talk to
Yeah.
help drive us to whatever that thing is, whether it's a
Mhm.
sales objective that you have, or whether it's building a new system for work, whether
Right.
it's building a gadget and you're an
Mhm.
engineer and you're going to be selling this gadget. So that
Yeah.
belief is huge. That positive self-talk is huge.
Yep. Yep. 100%. And I did go on to become the number one rep in the office, despite being the youngest, the only female, the least experienced, because I just was like, I'm going to make it happen. It might not be pretty, but like, I'm going to make it happen. And it was actually really cool because there was when people saw me succeeding, like they started to sit up straighter and kind of start believing in themselves a little more and then starting to realize like, wait, she's making all these commissions. Like I want those commissions too. So like maybe I need to believe in myself a little bit more. So it was so cool to just see other people do better for themselves when they could have been doing it all along. But sometimes it takes one person rising to the challenge to really
Mhm.
help ignite that belief in other people. Like if, well, if that girl can do it, then I can, and it's like, you can, you're right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. So, and again, that job was the hardest job I've ever had. I mean, cold calling, knocking on doors, running your own demos, the whole thing. But I learned so much. And so again, I think for people struggling, it's you're right where you're supposed to be, so extract as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Paige is blazing the pathway for us. We don't need to reinvent anything. We just need to talk with her and we need to learn from her. See, this is the importance of podcasts and books and being able to reach out and learn from other people is so many people have already done this.
Hmm.
They've already traveled the pathway you're trying to go down. And it's about finding those people, resourcing them and learning from them so that way we can make new mistakes.
Hmm.
We can learn new things. And like Coach P always says, it, we're looking at those as lessons. We learn new lessons as we go along that pathway. Paige, this has been inspiring to have you on today and being able to learn. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story and giving us all these lessons because I'm confident so many of us are going to walk out of here and say, oh, I can do this. Oh, you know something? I can do sales because I'm not going to sell anything. I'm just going to focus on building a relationship and having trust with that person
Hmm.
and helping relieve their pressure point.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
that's where my focus needs to be, not selling anything. It
Right.
needs to be on a focus on that relationship and that trust and that how can I help you be the person you're trying to become or serve your community in the way you're trying to serve them.
Hmm. Absolutely. We're in the service of others and it's a good place to be. So thank you for having me and yeah, I think so many people could be so much better at sales than they realize, right? And so focus on the relationship building and see what happens.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being here, Paige. Thank you so much, and I hope we get to have you on again down the road and talk about a further journey.
Love it. Thanks so much.
All
Great to be with y'all.
all
Bye.
right, take care.
Take care.